When it comes to impact theory now, you created this how long ago?
2 years ago, roughly.
Wow. And what was the process like creating it and getting the show on YouTube and like what was the gestation behind it to
Well, that actually goes back a little bit before impact theory. So at Quest, I had a very weird hiring policy. So when you're in manufacturing, you're going to find yourself in the inner cities. That's just the reality of things. Now, I had big brothered for this kid when I was 18, ended up big brothering for him for 8.5 years, a very long and beautiful and horrifying story of me being too young and stupid to really help. But it certainly touched my life very deeply to see somebody struggle so profoundly. And he was, I didn't know for many, many years, but he was being abused by his adoptive mother. And when he got removed from the abusive situation, I was made his guardian and had to help him into the court system and get him into foster care. And so it was just like really, really left an indelible mark on me. And the mark that it left was there are extraordinary people in very unextraordinary places. And I used to have the saying, and that's the next Einstein is going to be found somewhere in Compton. And so I referred to it as mining for astronauts, like people that have, they are capable of doing like mind-bendingly cool stuff, but they won't do it because they don't believe in themselves, because nobody's ever believed in them, and their circumstances tell them that they're never going to go anywhere. So I come into Quest with that mentality. Now, my whole thing is I don't care who you are today. It's not very interesting to me. What I want to know is who do you want to become and what's the price you're willing to pay to get there. Now, if that's real and not just some cool rhetoric, then why wouldn't I be willing to hire a felony, somebody with a felony conviction? And so I said, look, I'm letting it be known that Quest will hire people with a felony conviction if you're the right person for the job. You still have to be the right person for the job. It's not a charity.
Absolutely.
But if you're the right person for the job, I don't care if you've had a felony conviction. People lined up around the building just to get an interview. It was pure insanity. And I'm interviewing these people, and I start asking this magic genie question. And I say, hey, look, a magic genie is going to show up. They're going to grant you one wish and one wish only. You can wish for anything you want, except more wishes. Can't cure cancer, bring somebody back from the dead. It's got to be something for you. What do you wish for? Omar, every single one of them, I must have asked this question 300 times. Every single one of them gave me the same answer. What are the odds of that? Basically zero. Now I narrowed them down. Obviously it's a job interview, so it's like there's just a certain universe of things where people are going to give you a certain answer. Now normally people started with, I want a job. And I would immediately say, obviously you don't want a job. From a magic genie, you're saying that because you think that's what I want to hear. What do you want for real? And then they'd be like, okay, well I want money. Fantastic. How much money would you like? Every single person gave me the same answer.
$1 billion.
Omar, not even a chance. Why? It's a magic genie. Why would you only ask for $1 billion?
What would you say, $1 trillion?
That would at least make sense. I would think, okay, you're thinking. None of them got that far. Every single one of them said $1 million. And at first I thought they were joking. I literally at person 10, the 10th time in a row that I heard people say, I want $1 million, I thought my team was messing with me. I thought they were prepping them because I had told them how crazy I thought it was that, the first person, the second person, they were asking for $1 million. You can't even buy a house in Los Angeles for $1 million. So I was like, it didn't make sense. And so finally I got over the fact, I'm not being punked. This is their frame of reference. $1 million is essentially all the money in the world.
Correct.
Right? It's an absurdly high number to them. It's an unbelievable number. It's outside of their purview of what could really happen. And so when the magic genie shows up, you might as well ask for $1 million. And I just thought, wow, like that by itself is heartbreaking. That is why so few people escape, because to hit escape velocity, you have to believe that you can escape the gravitational pull of the inner city, of whatever you're trying to do. And so I was like, all right, I'm hell-bent to pass on this mindset, because I used to be a good employee, keep my head down, do as little work as possible, and avoid punishment at all costs. That was my life. And I considered myself the king of remedial jobs, and that's just where I came up. And so I had seen how entrepreneurship had completely changed me fundamentally to my core as a human being. And now I believed I could do anything I set my mind to without limitation. Now I know that's a lie, but it's so close to the truth that you might as well act as if. So I approach everything like, yeah, why can't I build the next Disney, right? So am I the person capable of that today? No. but I can become the person who's capable of that. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take decades and decades and decades, and I'm willing to put in that time and the effort, as I have already proven, to generate the funds to even attempt this. So all of that, like, I'm not the smartest guy. I'm really not. I got a 990 on my SATs. I took it twice. That's my combined score. Nobody thought I was going to succeed when I went to college. My own mother, when I left, quietly assumed I was going to fail. When I went to the guy who would become my father-in-law and asked for his blessing to marry his daughter, he said no because he didn't think I'd be able to provide for his daughter. Now, these were not people that misread me. These were people that had accurately identified what I had done up until that moment. And so they were right. The one thing they didn't take into account was ambition, that I had ambition to become something else. And once I learned drive, which was the missing ingredient in my life for a very long time, but once I learned drive, then I was a shot to the moon. So I'm like, I can teach these people all the things that I did to turn my life around. I used to lay in bed. Omar, this is a true story. I used to lay in bed every day for about 4 hours a day. I didn't have a job, and I just laid in bed.
Wow.
That's so anathema to who I am now that people, they think I'm joking. I'm not joking. And I know that if you change your mindset, that you can make your life 100 times better, 1,000 times better, whatever. I don't need people to believe that anybody can become anything. I just need you to believe whatever your life is now, it could be 1,000 times better. So that became my mission. So I started what was called Inside Quest in the beginning to show my employees, guys, you can do anything you want. So stop thinking of yourself as a line worker. You can become whatever you want. And I was like dad, right? So when I say it, it's like they start to tune me out. They've memorized my bullet points because I've written this thing called the Impact Theory Belief System. And you can read it. It's 25 bullet points of the things you need to believe in order to like go and do whatever you want in your life. They memorize them. And they come up and be like, bullet point 13. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to say this. I don't know the number of the bullets because I have not memorized them. I'm living them. And so my big fear was that they were going to memorize them and not live them, which is exactly what happened. So I needed to start bringing in people that would say it in a different way, that would resonate in a different way. So take David Goggins. David Goggins. Do you know who he is?
No.
Oh, my friend, you're in for a treat. Look him up. This guy is unbelievable. So he said growing up, he felt like he was the weakest man God had ever created. And he wanted to become the toughest man alive. And I will posit that he accomplished that. He was a Navy SEAL, but he also did like the Army Rangers hardest course and the Air Force, their hardest course. He ran 100 miles in 24 hours with no prior training. He broke both of his feet during the first 70 miles and ran the remaining 30 on broken feet.
Wow.
After he urinated blood, he defecated on himself because he was just so out of energy, but he still had 30 miles to go. That's more than a marathon. So imagine starting a marathon, just wiped. You're so done, you can't even get up to get to the porta potty. And so you just defecate on yourself. And then getting up and running the remaining 30 miles on broken feet. It's so crazy. So this guy, like, and I bring him on the show, right? Now you're not hearing Tom talk about stuff anymore. You're hearing David Goggins talk about how he goes from David to Goggins. It is one of the most incredible stories. And it is one of, I've done, God, how many now? Almost 300, I think. So under the banner of almost 200, I lied. Oh, you're going to let me get away with that. Under the banner of Impact Theory, we've done just over 100, and I did just under 100 at Inside Quest. So that's how that all started, was me desperately trying to show my, in some cases, felony convicted employees that they could become anything they wanted. They could become extraordinary, but they were going to have to pay a price. And the question life is going to ask all of us, are you willing to pay the price? And so I knew that people wouldn't be able to if they didn't have the information. And so that show just became me desperately trying to bring on enough people that could give enough insights that people could really change their lives.
I love it. That's really amazing that you have that belief in others, and it's contagious. You can really see that you go out there and make it happen for other people, and the fact that you're willing to say it doesn't matter where you've been. People have counted me out my whole life, and I'm able to grow past that is truly remarkable.